Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
Guys, welcome to Film Companion.
Thank you.
It seems like we're in the wave of historicals, but Ashutosh, you're actually Hindi cinema's original historian. you were doing it long before anyone else. I mean, with all the movies you've made.
The trendsetter.
He is the trendsetter,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I was just wondering, when you do reimagine history, how do you decide what dramatic liberties you can take? How do you decide that I can do this, but I can't show it like this?
Well, that's the longest time I take to, when I'm selecting a topic, I'm already pre-looking at certain things. The first thing in order is whether it's relevant today.
Yeah.
Second is how much freedom I can take. Third, how volatile is it for today's times, or is it not? Because my essence is I don't want to tell a story which is going to create a disharmony of any kind. Because I'm looking at stories of bravado, I'm looking at stories of courage, valor, which become very common themes, but also but untold stories.
For the two of you, just getting into the mindsets and the body language of 18th century characters, what did you have to change the most?
My hair.
Yes, of course.
Had to let go.
How hard was that?
Well, I mean, post Bala and Houseful, it seems like a theme again that is quite relevant. But it wasn't hard. He said it, and I realized to play a Peshwa with full authenticity, I can't get away by sticking on something and just doing it half-heartedly, because there's action, there's drama, you're playing out in the sunlight, you're going to be through the film. So it was a very organic thing to say yes to that. If you're going to tell a story, you have to tell it in the best way possible. These days, we don't do 3-4 films at the same time, so it's about taking out time and doing it. But so the thing is, there's a certain stiffness that is assumed when you play a character from that era, because that is an assumption.
The spine erect type.
Which obviously comes from the garb that is already pre-existing, because a lot of the outfits were such that you can't really be slouching.
And you can't really be moving also.
Yeah, so when I start wearing the clothes, it's a conclusion that it's not by choice. It is actually, there is a certain posture that you gain and you're holding the shawl a certain way. You're wearing that, what टोपी को हम क्या कहते हैं जो जब हम कोट में बैठते थे सर.
So there is that.
So there's a thing that's hanging. So if I go like this, no, it'll hit me in the eye. So there's an organic body language that develops when you start wearing the garb. On top of that, obviously, you have to build towards a character. Now, when you're a warrior, when you're playing a character that carries a certain demeanor and a certain physicality, you have to create that by believing the core is such. Right. It's not just an overt exaggeration of standing with the chest out. It's just the way you conduct yourself. It is the way you communicate. And most people that are leaders, that are warriors, are not people that raise their voice and scream and shout. I always feel there is a certain composure, there's a certain calmness, because you're always calculating and you're a little ahead of what everybody else is thinking, because you are the Senapati. You don't always have to be the boisterous one, and you're not supposed to be the guy who gets angry first. You're the one who calculates first. So even in the gestures, we were very limited, as in not limited, but we didn't exaggerate, because it's just, you don't have to do this. It's about this much is also enough sometimes. So less is more, for me, became more relevant for Sadashiv Rao Bhau, because there is a certain calm in the storm. There's a certain understanding that he can read people by just looking at them rather than having to suss them out by just being fidgety.
There are many expressions that I might have which are very contemporary. Like I end up doing this a lot. I like sort of use my tongue like that a lot. But I feel like that's something that I can't do with a Parvati Bai.
She won't do it.
She won't do it. That time wouldn't have that expression. Just doesn't go with the image. So to keep correcting yourself at that point, wherever you slip into, your own contemporary expressions, I think that is important and necessary. The rest, it does a little bit come with the clothes that you wear. Like he said, when there's a shawl, your hands end up being here. They cannot go straight, Or when you have the sari on, the walk is not a contemporary Western walk.
Yeah.
You automatically get a little Indian in your walk. So I feel those are things that you sort of have to keep reminding yourself while you're on set. Like for example, for me, I felt like whenever I walked from the Vanity Man to the set, I wanted to make sure I walked like Parvati Bai, because that sort of gave me a thing of getting into it now on the set.
Yeah, makes sense. Ashu, Lagan was about sort of the unity, the importance of unity, the importance of Sach aur Sahas, jiske man mein hai. I mean, that's one of my favorite Hindi movie lines of all time. Jodha Akbar was about religious tolerance. This film feels more like it's mining the hyper-patriotism that's so prevalent in the country right now. So is that a correct assessment? Is it like an 18th century version of how high is the Josh or what's the Josh? You know?
No, not at all. Because this idea has been in my mind for the past 7-8 years. And I like to keep harnessing it, harvesting it, where you try to mull over it and let it emerge. What is appealing to me most is that the 18th century is a gap period, the link between the Mughals and the British when the Maratha Empire was ruling. We know about Bajirao, but we don't know about Sadashiv Rao. We don't know about what happened in 1761, and we don't know about the Third Battle of Panipat, which we know that 1 lakh people died in one single day between 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Why did that battle happen? What are the circumstances that led to it? Was something that I got drawn to. And that's when I started discovering that it's a story again about unity, about unifying ourselves. And it's the idea of a nation. When the idea of Hindustan was not so prevalent, but still the Marathas felt that everything in this land is ours. I mean, if somebody else is being attacked, we must stop that attack from happening. So if Abdali is invading, and that news has come in, he's invaded 4 times. This time we are a little stronger. We must stop that from happening. So this idea of selfless courage is something that is unusual. The idea of nation, the idea of unity again, of unifying forces. I think these are the themes which came to my mind before this new phase that you're talking about.
Right.
And for me, I've always made movies when the trend was not existing. So I mean, I don't want to talk about Lagan and Jodha Akbar again, but you're not supposed to make movies on this at this point in time.
Yeah, of
What are you
course.
doing? Are you mad?
Yeah,
Is what
yeah.
always happens.
Yeah.
So this film also probably falls in the same, because a lot of people feel, why are you making this? It's a battle that we lost, dude. And I'm like, yeah, we lost,
I got
but
that
it's
too. Very often.
it's the bravery, it's the courage. You must see it. Yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, let's see it. I mean, the attitude is that, which is natural. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong in that. We don't want to know about losses. When did you last see a cricket match that happened in 1994, which we lost?
Yeah.
You never go for reruns of a lost cricket match.
Right.
So it's the same thing. But for me, the valor is most important. The courage, and how fabulous and astonishing this entire expedition was is something that I want to bring forth. Give a cinematic rendition of the battle.
But Ashu, I don't know if you saw this. Yesterday, Uday Bhatia did a very extensive piece in Mint about the recent historicals. And he talked about how the iconography is very Hindu and they almost seem Islamophobic. I've also read, reports, I don't know how true it is, about the Afghanistan embassy expressing concern about the portrayal of Abdali. So what is your response to that?
No, I think I completely respect the emotions that the Afghan embassy or the Afghans might feel. Because sure, Ahmad Shah Abdali ji is the father of the nation today. You cannot change that fact. We have to accept it. But he did invade us 4 times, 5 times. This is the 5th time he came in. Now that also is a part of history. For me, this film is not about a Hindu-Muslim battle. It's not. It's about stopping an invader. It's protecting your borders. It's protecting your land, your motherland, is what the patriotic theme of the film is. Now, in the wake of that, we have to show that Abdali did invade. But we have kept the dignity of the character. After
But he's
all, an
also
emperor.
shown as villainous, no, Ashu? I mean, in the
No, you have to
promos
see-
at
Yeah, when you
least.
see the
No,
film,
you'll
you
see
will
the
not
film, yeah,
feel
yeah.
that
He's an
alone.
emperor. In all
Okay,
this.
because at least in the promos, he comes off.
So
I
he
think
was
it's more
perhaps
of
the
the
toughest
perspective.
opponent that could have been there for at that point of time. That is why the choice to go from Shaniwar Wada, because this man was so, I would say, larger than life in the way he was, that they had to put together the entire country to stop him. But see, more than that, we've seen 3 minutes of the film in the trailer. We've not spoken about Ibrahim Khan Gardi, who was with us, as in the the Peshwas and the Marathas. Ibrahim Khan Gardi, who
Shamsher Bahadur.
Shamsher Bahadur, who's Bajirao and Mastani's son, who travelled and fought with us. So if we talk from the secular point of view, there is a lot more in the film than what meets the eye maybe in a 3-minute trailer. And I'm sure, like Sir said, these are all relevant conversations. But I don't think the film treads in the jingoistic.
Right.
It treads more in the reality of it. So there are both the sides, and I think once you come out of the film, you will not look at it from the religious point of view, the connotations. It's
Yeah,
more
not at
about about what transpired and the politics of the time. It's also to do with how that relevance remains today in certain ways without the jingoism and the religious aspects of it.
But
Also,
also,
Sir said,
sorry.
yeah, also as Sir said that, the character has been presented with a lot of dignity. Yes, he is the opponent. Yes, that's why we see him as an anti-hero.
But he's not a villain.
Yeah, but when you see, I feel like all the perspectives, the fact that he was one of the most powerful kings, the most powerful opponents, and the fact that he did invade, but he never came back after winning the battle. Why? So I'm sure he also had a journey. He also had something that he went through, and in the film you see all of that. You want to add?
Exactly that. Yeah.
So tell me finally, what do you hope that viewers will take away from an 18th century battle that, like you said, in fact, the good guys lost?
I would say respect and honor for all the martyrs who gave their lives then, all the soldiers of the Maratha Empire. The selflessness in that fight is something that it will be a newfound respect. And we hope, I mean, this is what the filmmaker usually thinks when he starts off, that you try and change perspectives and perceptions of people. So the attempt is that in all of Maharashtra, every Maharashtrian heart is very wounded when it comes to the Third Battle of Panipat.
Yeah.
Somewhere, if you can soften that wound, somewhere if you can nurse it.
Like they actually use the word Panipat as Panipat झालं. जब कुछ खराब हो जाता है या lose हो जाता है या.
It's
If that-
common language.
Yeah.
So if that wound can be nursed cinematically, it will be an achievement.
Yeah.
Well, thank you and good luck.
Thank you. Thank
All
you so
best
much.
for the movie.
Thank you. If you like this video, please subscribe to Film Companion.
But also go and watch Panipat on the 6th of December.
6th of
That's most
December.
important.
Very, very important.
I've said watch Film Companion enough, now go and watch Panipat.